I got all the major components separated from their build plates and sprues, and done some preliminary painting. So all of this got a black primer coat first. The Mr. Finishing Surfacer in the rattle can, black, and then went in with our Insignia white. And this particular brand was the Mr. Color brand. And then here we shot some light gray actually, but this back area is masked off, as well as the area in between the seat rails. So the back wall, the back bulkhead of the cockpit is going to remain in that flat black primer. Flat black is what it calls for. I think that primer is about probably one of the best flat blacks you could really ask for in this case, and it sprays down beautifully. So we started some color. Here's our wheels, some other details. These are some lights that go on the landing gear. These pitot static tubes, those will probably end up getting probably a steel color. I haven't really looked up that yet. Landing gear, doors, bay doors, interiors are all Insignia white. The landing gear bays are all Insignia white. This is the other wall to the nose landing gear. And then the fuselage itself. So in order to get the main wheel, main landing gear bay to fit, and the cockpit to fit, and then here's our new tail cone. We did the interior green on it. This got interior green. Now the engine exhaust itself still needs to get detail painted a steel color, and I'm not sure how I'm going to address that detail down inside there, but it is detailed with the engine flame holder. So yeah, it looks good though. So anyway, back to the fuselage. So I had to cut out the landing gear bay that was molded into this, and it's not the prettiest of cuts. In fact, look there, I've got a little stray piece of plastic. A little bit of sanding has been done. So that area, the nose landing gear area, these sides had to be widened out just a little bit more. Just I think 0.8 of a millimeter, and the way I measured that was with these calipers, right? I was able to find 0.8 of a millimeter, and then use this end to actually scribe that distance. So I ran it down, scratched a little line in there, and then used a mechanical pencil to darken that line so I had something to follow. So I did that on both sides here, all the way around here, and then there's kind of a nook that goes into here. I still have to go in there and probably trim a little bit more of this on both sides to get it to fit properly. We're not quite there yet. One of the drawbacks when you're doing this, if you decide you want to try this on yours and add this resin detail, when you cut this out, you take away one of the alignment pins like you have up here. You've got your pin and then the hole that it mates up with, as well as one up here. So these are on the top of the fuselage, but now on the bottom, after doing all that trim work, you only have this one that's aft of the landing gear bay. So it's a little bit weak for alignment purposes, but I saw another video where the guy used some squares of styrene sheet plastic and just created some tabs to lay on the inside of both halves. So when you bring it together, they kind of interlace. So it holds that joint together better from the inside. Like I said, my cuts aren't as clean as they could be. I had to remove a little bit of the sidewall in the cockpit area. Again, that was 0.8 millimeters, if I'm not mistaken. The nose dome was cut off so that the new resin piece could be put on. And this is going to require some putty in places. You can see I've got a fairly large gap there. Oops. The tail cone also. Let's get this back together. So the tail cone goes in here, and it does fit if I can align everything properly. All right, so you can see when I do get it on there. All right, I've still got another gap in this area. Everything else is fairly flush. So to fill my gaps, there's multiple ways of addressing that, but I think what I intend to do is use the Tamiya polyester putty. I've used this on a few kits in the past, and I like it a lot. It doesn't get crumbly, it doesn't shrink like some of the other putties do, and it's easy to mold and shape as it's curing. So, as it starts to firm up, you can use your number 11 blade and shave away, excess, so that when you go to do your final sanding, you don't have as much to sand through. So all those areas where I had a bit of a gap from my cutting process, I'll fill that with the Tamiya polyester putty, and then cut it to close to the finish mold line, so I have minimal sanding to do when it's dry. But that's where we are at the moment. Next up will be to do some of the detail painting inside the landing gear bays and the cockpit. Now the cockpit kit also comes with the 3D printed decals. I don't know if y'all have seen these or not. All right, so that's all 3D printed. There's actually depth to the knobs and gauges. All right, so that'll all get done. So that goes up under here. This is our cockpit dash and combing, so that'll go up in there. All right, you've got your gun sight, and they actually provide you with the clear acetate for your gun sight. And then there's also a couple of pieces which I think those might be for lights on the landing gear, but I'll have to double check on that. And speaking of landing gear, you've also got all of the informational decals on the landing gear struts. Your pressures for the struts. Here's your data cards. Now some of this I cannot read it without my magnifiers, so let me see if I can. Well, it's readable by someone, not by me. Anyway, and then these metal bars, there's actually 3 of them. All right, so the 2 longer ones go into the main landing gear from the top side. So it goes into the strut down to the bottom here. I tried to put it in, and actually that hole goes all the way through, so it just dropped right through. So I won't install the bar until probably when I get the wheel on, but I'll have to do that before I close up the fuselage halves. Or maybe I'll just put a dab of super glue on the end so it doesn't fall through. I don't know. I'll have to look at that. And then the shorter bar is for your nose landing gear. So you've got the upper part of the strut, and then the lower part that goes into it, and then that bar allows you to rotate upper and lower. All right, so stick around for the next update, because this is going to come together fairly quick. I say that with my fingers crossed. So there you have it, folks. We're off to a pretty good start. I've actually made a little more progress since the end of what you're seeing here, but we'll add that into the next update video. Stick around. I will get back onto a model car here pretty soon, possibly even before this aircraft is completely finished. So don't give up on that. This is a modeling channel. I do a little bit of everything, although primarily over the last year and a half it has been cars. That's kind of the direction I'm shifting in more often now. But I hope you like what you're seeing so far. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a comment or two. Share it with your friends. Anyway, till the next one, everybody. Peace and love.